And the broader question about immigration, what is the right way to handle not only legal immigration, but to deal with those who are currently outside the system?
So it's a massive issue. Right now we have over 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. And to me, there are three approaches you can take. Approach number one is you can pretend to deport them. And when I say pretend is that it makes absolutely no sense practically to suggest deporting 11 million people. It would collapse regional economies, it would separate families. The whole thing is a non-starter.
Is that what the Trump administration is doing now?
I believe so. They're pretending that deportation's an actual solution on scale when it clearly is not. Number two is you can do nothing, which is our other major approach. and then you end up with massive problems at every step because you don't know who anyone is. When they do commit crimes, it's a massive problem. They show up in emergency rooms and institutions in various ways that end up incurring costs, get into car accidents, like all of the above. I mean, these are the things that just happen when you have 11 million people in your country that you don't know who they are. So the third path, which is the path we should pursue and the path that actually Republicans were on board with a number of years ago, is to try and create a multi-year path to citizenship that would give them the ability to integrate into society over an extended period of time if they didn't commit crimes and paid taxes and were willing to abide by various requirements. One thing on a personal level, my father immigrated to this country. I'm the son of immigrants. My mom too. They met as graduate students at Berkeley. My father generated 69 US patents for GE and IBM. And so I think that's a good deal for the US. Because I remember asking him as a kid, it's like, hey, Dad, how much do you get paid when you generate a patent? He's like, oh, $200. And I was like, that doesn't sound like a lot. And I was like, oh, but they pay my salary so I can put a roof over your head and the rest of it. And I was like, okay, I get the deal. So immigrants make our country stronger, more dynamic, more innovative, and we need to bear that in mind and also stop scapegoating immigrants for economic dislocations that immigrants have very little to do with. Right now, if you go to a factory here in Iowa, it's much more likely to be wall-to-wall robots and machines, and this is true on the farms too, increasingly. And so that's going to be the trend. And so trying to scapegoat immigrants for economic problems is missing the core set of issues. When I looked into the impact on manufacturing work, as an example, studies show that it was 80% because of automation, robots, and technology, to give you a sense of the numbers.
So some people argue that people like folks who took the time and did the work to come here the right way should be opposed to people who came here illegally and then somehow are going to get a path to citizenship. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that the reason why people come to this country are very clear. The same reason my family came here is trying to create a better life for their kids, and it worked for me and my brother. And so these incentives have been in place for years and are very universal, shall we say. So if you have a process in place and people are pursuing it through our current immigration system, that's tremendous. And if we have this pathway to citizenship, it will be longer, more time-consuming, more arduous than our existing system in most every case. But we can't let the fact that certain people might have certain feelings obscure the fact that, look, we have over 11 million people in this country that we have to figure out a path for, and that's just the practical reality of where we are.